Well, one thing is, what are the Democrats going to do? Where is the energy in their party? Where are they headed? If you look at Mamdani in New York, if you look at the communist mayor of Seattle, if you look at the person they nominated down in that Tennessee special election around Nashville a few weeks ago that Republicans won, if you look at who they are nominating for offices, a lot of them are from this very outspoken socialist wing of the Democratic Party. So when I'm thinking about the midterms, two things I don't know. What are the final maps going to look like? And we may see the Supreme Court act on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And who are the Democrats going to nominate? If they nominate a bunch of socialist lunatics, a bunch of socialist theater kids in districts around the country that are a little more purple or a little more moderate, they may not do as well as they think they are going to do.
Yeah, exactly. The money's coming from China, but that guy's a capitalist. Well, let's talk. You mentioned Somalia, so let's talk about Minnesota, obviously. As we're recording this morning, Tim Walz now is not going to seek re-election, which is one of the craziest and fastest free falls in American politics, I think, in history. But it all started with this young guy, Nick Shirley, who I've met a few times, who is he's just a normal guy who got interested in politics and had a phone and started asking questions. This is the new version of the reporter, I suppose.
I mean, look what you can do with a little bit of gumption and a camera and a YouTube channel. I mean, when you look at the impact that video had, I mean, the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of views. I mean, what he did, his product has been seen by more people than ever see the nightly news on NBC or ABC or CBS. And it brought to the front of our politics a necessary conversation about fraud. I mean, it is true the Justice Department had been looking into it there, but it was really being downplayed by the national press. It was being downplayed, and certainly Tim Walz was looking the other way. People were effectively trying to hide it from you. They didn't want to talk about it. The numbers are staggering. $9 billion maybe. And Minnesota's not a big state. And it's all happening in one small little community. But again, I go back to what we talked about earlier. The reason they wanted to downplay it or hide it from you is because it went against the narrative. You know, the narrative is that all immigration is good. No matter where they come from or what they come here to do, all immigration is good. And any sort of reporting that shows that in this case, immigration probably created a massive amount of fraud against American taxpayers in Minnesota, that goes against the narrative. And so we got to get rid of it. Shirley shows up, shines a bright light on it. Now everybody knows about it. And, you know, just a few days later, Tim Walz isn't running for re-election. I can assure you, if he thought he was clean on this, he'd still be in his re-election campaign today. There's a reason he dropped out. And that reason is Nick Shirley.
Yeah. What else are you tracking as sort of the big stories of the year? Like what else do you think will be important as we roll into the midterms?
Well, one thing is, what are the Democrats going to do? Where is the energy in their party? Where are they headed? If you look at Mamdani in New York, if you look at the communist mayor of Seattle, if you look at the person they nominated down in that Tennessee special election around Nashville a few weeks ago that Republicans won, if you look at who they are nominating for offices, a lot of them are from this very outspoken socialist wing of the Democratic Party. So when I'm thinking about the midterms, two things I don't know. What are the final maps going to look like? And we may see the Supreme Court act on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And who are the Democrats going to nominate? If they nominate a bunch of socialist lunatics, a bunch of socialist theater kids in districts around the country that are a little more purple or a little more moderate, they may not do as well as they think they are going to do. And so that's a big trend here. Are the Democrats going to go down this Mamdani road? Or are they going to go down the road of trying to act like normal human beings? And I don't know if we know the answer to that yet. To me, it's going to define what happens this year.
We've played a lot of clips of you talking about Mamdani, but now that he's sworn in, how bad do you think it's going to get? One of my fears around the Mamdani thing has been that you might be able to fake it for a while, meaning that the budgets don't all come in. You can kind of fake some of the free stuff for a while. It'll look pretty good. You know, they'll glaze him for a bit. And while they do that, they'll be able to replicate him in some other cities and states. it may just all fall apart overnight. I mean, there's already some really bad signs with some of the people he's brought in. But what do you think is going to happen there? What does the timeline look like?
Look, I think it's already bad. I mean, look, he erased all the executive orders, and specifically the ones dealing with anti-Semitism. So, for all the Democrats who on CNN were trying to explain to me that he's not personally anti-Semitic. Well, A, he's surrounded by a bunch of people that are, and B, he erased all these executive orders, and the 2 tweets that he decided to delete had specifically to do with anti-Semitism and Israel. So you tell me. That's number one. Number two, he hired Al-Qaeda's lawyer to be his chief counsel. I mean, it sounds crazy, like I'm making it up. I'm literally not. Yeah. He hired Al-Qaeda's lawyer to be his lawyer. Okay? Number three, everybody tells me he's all about affordability, and he spent the entire weekend tweeting about and talking about Maduro, a fellow socialist. He's really mad. Maduro got arrested and is now in New York City. That has nothing to do with affordability. So everything this guy is doing is exactly who we as conservatives thought he was, and that we were assured by Democrats and media that, he's really not. He's really not that way. Look who he appoints. He's got this lady running his landlord-tenant stuff who says, well, white people are going to have a different relationship with private property than they've ever had before. That relationship will be that you don't have any anymore. We're going to take your stuff. I mean, this is lunatic, dorm room, radical fringe crap that is now in charge of the financial capital of the world. And so I would like to believe that the best case scenario is incompetence grinds him to a halt. Worst case scenario, this is a socialist/communist crusader who's going to put people in place that are going to do things that are going to irreparably damage the fabric of New York City. And it may be to the benefit of Miami or other places, but for New York City and what it has stood for, I mean, given his moves early on, I'm not optimistic about this guy.
I assure you, Scott, as a Miamian, we've had more than enough. We're closed. We're closed, man. You also did not mention that there is a first ever openly lesbian fire chief. Sure, she's never worked in the fire department before, but she's a lesbian, Scott, for God's sakes. I mean, that's pretty great.
I wonder what these interviews are like. Okay, I need to hire a head of the fire department. My first question is, what is your sexual orientation? Because that is the most important thing I'm hiring for. I think only 3% of New York City firefighters are women. 25% are African-American or Hispanic men. All were passed over for fire chief. So for a person who had never had worked in the fire department. Now, she'd been an EMT, and I want to give her
she's an EMT,
but, if I were a black or Hispanic male firefighter and I got passed over for a white lesbian non-firefighter for fire chief, I might wonder, what are my advancement possibilities here? Am I going to be discriminated against by Mamdani because he only seems to care about the sexual orientation of people as it relates to putting out fires? Again, I know these things sound crazy to the average person. That's the way he did. That's the way he picked it. The number one criteria for picking a fire chief was, do you like to sleep with someone of the same gender? That was their number one criteria.
Well, listen, I know when we have a small house fire here, a little grease fire in the kitchen, we only will let firefighters in who are lesbian or bi. Not gay men are out. They don't count anymore. You've got to be a lesbian or bisexual.
I think my friends in New York, you might want to get an extra fire extinguisher before they all sell out. Put it in your apartment.
If you're craving more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics, check out our politics playlist right here. And if you don't want to miss any future videos, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.